The Nintendo Switch is over 5 years old and is beginning to reach the end of its life cycle, and although that might be a sad reality to some people, it comes with a lot of upsides, one of them being the fact that prices for most games have gone down significantly, and a lot of collectible titles are still affordable for the time being. So that's why I wanted to discuss a few uncommon Switch games I'd recommend picking up in 2023. Let's get into it. Starting off my list is a weaker title but still unique enough for me to recommend to some people, and that game is Lethal League Blaze. This game puts you in an arena against 4 other people where you will fight using the ball as your weapon. The catch is that the ball can only be under the control of one player, meaning you will have to pull off some split-second hits and combos to beat your opponents. This game is weird, and its lack of content is the reason I wouldn't recommend it to everyone, but it's unique enough to be an excellent party game or just a cheap pickup. The next game is Wild Guns Reloaded, which might sound familiar to some people, and that's because it's a remaster of the original Wild Guns on the Super Nintendo, which is a great game but sadly costs around $200 for just a loose cartridge. So this is a great way to experience that game without breaking your wallet. In terms of the game itself, it's a shooting gallery shoot 'em up based in the Wild West that can be played with up to 4 people. On top of that, the Switch Reloaded version comes with 2 brand new characters that completely change the style of the game. There are also some smaller additions such as new levels and weapons, and the overall game itself is just a fun way to try out a gaming genre that doesn't get much attention nowadays. Alright, so my next pick is a great horror themed light gun shooter, which is House of the Dead Remastered. This is a game where you can play with friends as you shoot your way through different levels trying to survive and rack up the highest score. I'm sure many people at this point know about the House of the Dead series, which was super popular in the arcades, and this is a great way to play it at home. Now granted, the aiming controls are not as fluid, and the game itself is not going to be nearly as good compared to the arcade original, but it's still worth grabbing, especially when new copies sell for only around $25 US. My next pick is a well-known series that blew up when it released, which is Hotline Miami. Now the Switch was lucky enough to get a Hotline Miami collection, which includes both the first and second game, and if you haven't played Hotline Miami before, please do yourself a favor and do it, because it's a remarkable game with one of the best soundtracks ever. And for those that don't know the game, it's a top-down pixel-based shoot-'em-up that will have you going through levels with limited ammo and weapons. The story, on the other hand, is very deep, and you can honestly choose whether or not you want to piece it all together, making it great for both casual and hardcore players. And the reason I'm recommending this game on the Switch is because it gives you the option of playing portably and docked, which is just a great way to experience the series. Now, I didn't notice anything new with the game itself, and I don't think any new features or additional content were added, but regardless, it's a game that will rise in price over time, and it's definitely a must play if you haven't tried the series before. The last pick of the list is a game that's been around for quite some time, and one that I played a lot on the PlayStation 4, and that game is TowerFall. This is an arena platformer based around archery that is best played with others. You'll spend your time trying to impale your friends with arrows while the map shrinks and power-ups appear. This game originally had its debut on the Ouya, and for those that remember the console, you'll recall how badly it failed. But luckily, TowerFall didn't die with it and found its way to other systems, and this is one of those games that supports up to 6 players locally, which can be a lot of fun. Obviously, I think the game is best played on the Switch as it's much easier to pick up and play compared to console ports. As it stands, TowerFall is undoubtedly one of the best local multiplayer games to have in your library, and it will only rise in price with time. And there you have it. That's my small list of titles I'd recommend grabbing for your Switch collection. I did my best to have some variety in the recommendations and also avoided picking super expensive titles, but I'm sure I missed some really good games, so if you want to let me know what uncommon titles you recommend grabbing right now, I'm all for it. Anyways, with that said, I just want to give you a huge thank you for watching till the end. Please subscribe if you haven't, as it really does mean a lot, and with that said, I hope you have an amazing day. Bye.